A small mom and pop landlord in San Diego, California learned that the state and the city are on the tenant's side when she couldn't evict the tenant who didn't intend on paying a nickel. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. Alright, so I have an interesting article for you today, and once again, it's coming out of the state of California. So obviously, the people who watch my videos know that California has some of the strongest tenant protections, some of the most anti-landlord laws. You know, they seem to be just constantly trying to strip away landlords' property rights. And, you know, I bring these articles up because this is a warning call to all those people who live in states and they see the similar legislation being proposed that, hey, this is the end result, okay? This is the result when you have landlords like this one, this small mom and pop landlord there who are getting completely screwed over by the rules and the eviction protections that were put in place, okay? So there's tenants out there and they know the game, they know the system, and if you don't have all of your I's dotted and your T's crossed, you're going to get your butt handed to you if you try to take them to court. And that's exactly what happened to this landlord here. And I don't blame her, okay? You know, she's a small property owner, she's elderly in her 80s, and she probably didn't understand when she had this rental property that, hey, everything seems to be going well. You know, California's probably not that bad of a place to be. You know, it's never a problem until it is a problem. That's what I always say, okay? It's never a problem until it is a problem. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. What do you think of, you know, just landlords getting screwed over by the state of California, by multiple states all throughout the country? You know, just let me know, especially small mom and pop landlords. A lot of the people who watch these videos, they're like me, they're smaller property owners, but you know, they're probably even smaller than me. Maybe they own one or just a couple of properties, but you know, the big thing is that we all fall under the same rules. If you're a corporate landlord who owns 10,000 units, or you're a small mom and pop landlord who's renting out the other side of your duplex, you have to follow the exact same rules and you get screwed over by the state or the city in the exact same way. So anyway, let's get into this article because it's quite interesting. This article is coming from CBS8.com and it says, "Landlord can't evict tenants who don't intend to pay a nickel. Judge rules renters had a verbal lease agreement but nothing in writing." And this article does have a video with it, and I'll play that video for you right now.
He asked if we had any plans for that house. I told him yes.
Barbara Gunner is the landlord on top of the hill. From her front porch in Encanto, she can see her rental house down below, where she says people have been living for 9 months without paying rent.
How many people are living there now?
About 6.
Barbara says none of the people living here have a written lease. They took over the property after her longtime tenant died.
Do you think that these people are squatters?
They are squatters.
They are squatters.
They haven't paid a nickel.
Yeah, they're squatters.
That's why they're down there now.
Barbara filed eviction papers and took the people to court, but she represented herself and lost the case. In fact, the judge ruled against her twice.
It's a terrible thing, but your hands are tied. You know, to do things legally, you have to go by what the judge says.
It all came down to what the judge called a verbal lease agreement, formalized when Barbara accepted initial rent payments from one of the tenants. Her husband, Roy, is a retired criminal attorney, and he still doesn't understand the complicated ruling.
It looks to me it's damn near impossible to get anybody out of your house. They can come in and tell any lie, and that's enough to squeeze by these current laws in California.
All right, you saw the video, let's get into the article. A San Diego woman says squatters are living in her rental home and she can't get rid of them, despite them owing 9 months of unpaid rent. Barbara Gunner filed an eviction case, but the judge ruled against her twice. Gunner, 81, estimated 6 people are living in her Encanto rental house, which she has owned for decades. She said none of them have written leases. They took over the property after her longtime tenant died, Gunner said. It's a terrible thing, but your hands are tied. To do things legally, you have to go by what the judge says, Gunner said. And from the sound of it, you know, like, she's owned this home for decades, okay? And when you own a home for that long and you're, you know, a small landlord, you're not up to date with all of the new legislation, all the new rules, all of everything that has been passed. You know, you had probably a good tenant in there who stayed for a very long time, and you know, you had no problems with them. Unfortunately, that tenant might have had other people move in, or other people might have just taken over the place after your tenant passed away. So you're put into a situation now where, hey, what do you do? What do you do? Well, my suggestion is, and I know a lot of people don't agree with this, is to first, you know, go and study the law for your jurisdiction, okay? Even if you look at the state law, well, cities and counties have their own laws on top of that. And so you should know what the law is. And if you don't understand it enough, or if you're not able to, you know, implement it in the correct way, you need to hire a lawyer, okay? Do not go to the eviction process thinking that, oh, well, this is going to be super simple. I just want these people out there not paying. Well, you have to jump through certain hoops. You have to take certain steps. And landlords that evict people and have done it many times, they have no problem doing it on their own. But like I said, this is a small landlord, elderly lady who probably has never done this before. So in her situation in particular, I would have said, pay right away a lawyer to help you out with the entire process, especially considering these are squatters, and if they're not professional tenants, they know their rights. Gunner represented herself in the eviction litigation, which she acknowledged was a mistake. It all came down to what the judge called a verbal lease agreement, formalized when Gunner accepted initial rent payments from one of the tenants. Gunner's husband, Roy, is a retired criminal attorney, and he still doesn't understand the complicated ruling. So basically, she entered into a verbal lease agreement with one of the tenants when she accepted a rent payment from that person, okay? And even if these tenants are not on a lease, well, now they are considered to be on a lease, at least here in San Diego. So yeah, she's got to abide by all of the same rules that all of the people with leases would have. She can't just easily remove these people. And that's unfortunate. You know, I think that in the state of California even, she might have to pay them moving costs in order for them to leave. I mean, think about that for a second, okay? Here these people are in her house, not paying her, no lease, and she might have to pay them to leave. You know what you are doing. You know, that is my warning, okay? Now, I'm not going to criticize her. She is an elderly lady. She has owned the property for a long time. She did fall into a bad situation, right? But you have to ask questions, you know. You need to talk to somebody who does know what they're doing, be it a property manager, be it a real estate attorney, or be it just another real estate investor who's done this sort of thing before. But you just can't jump in there and start accepting these lease payments. You know, you created a lease out of nothing, and now, you know, she admits she did screw up. She, you know, didn't know what she was doing. She was representing herself in court, and she lost twice. It's darn near impossible to get anybody out of the house. They come in and tell any lie, and that's enough to squeeze by these current laws in California, Roy Gunner said. They're taking advantage of the situation. They don't intend to pay a nickel and don't intend to move, the husband continued. CBS reached out to the main tenant on the property, Tina Jackson, who was named in the eviction case. She did not return our call. Two other tenants, Christina Williams and Christopher Thorne, spoke to CBS 8 at the property. She lost twice in her unlawful detainer, and she was told by the judge that she could not come down here and do repairs and have the tenants removed. But she doesn't care what the court said, Williams said. Asked if she thinks the landlord deserves to have rent paid, Williams responded, "Yeah, I'm not disputing that she does deserve to have her rent paid, but there's a way to go about things. If you tried to forcibly remove somebody and you lost in court, then you go back to a starting point and try to resolve that." Gunner said the tenants did pay rent for a few months and admitted the house needs repairs, She is prepared to return to eviction court yet again, this time with a retained attorney. Yeah, and it's good that she figured out what her mistake was and that she's going to go back, try to remove these tenants with an attorney this time to help her, since she doesn't know what she's doing, obviously, okay? But, speaking to these tenants, I mean, talk about pieces of crap, okay? They're like, oh, well, yeah, she deserves to have the rent paid, but she needs to go about filing the paperwork. No, shut the hell up, okay? Shut the hell up. You're a piece of crap. Get the heck out of this lady's house right now, okay? You don't deserve to live anywhere for free. You don't get nothing for free. And if you end up on the street corner living in your car, that's your problem, okay? You're a thief. You stole this lady's house, and now you're using government bureaucracy to stay in this place for free, and that's wrong. It is wrong. Do you know what stealing is? It's when you take something that does not belong to you without paying for it, and that is exactly what you're doing right now by staying in this lady's house. So yeah, I have no sympathy for these tenants. They're pieces of crap. They need to get the heck out of there, even if this lady didn't do everything right and didn't follow all of the rules, right? She deserves to have her property back because it is hers.